show number 2. I'm Star of the Frag, and I'm going to be your moderator today. Yay! The first thing that I have to bring up with you ladies is delayed games. Now that we are going into fall, a lot of the games that were scheduled to be coming out this year obviously are either getting pushed back to late December or they're getting pushed back to 2015. So a few of these games that, I mean, obviously we know what these are. The Crew we found out was just going to be delayed about a month. Evolve is not going to be coming out now until early 2015. Schoolgirls is also being delayed. Hotline Miami is being delayed. So there's tons and tons of different games being delayed.
Makes me mad, Siren, when the game is late, because they start teasing games so far in advance, and I really wonder if they should just not tease me with it until they're really ready for it.
I wonder almost how many of these decisions are made based on if the game is not ready yet and then they push it back, or if they're like, man, look at this calendar. There are all these games coming out. Maybe we should push back so we can like make sure that the people that are buying still buy it versus having to choose between like competitor titles.
I don't know. I feel like I used to be a lot more angry about this sort of stuff when I was younger, but now being like immersed in the gaming industry, like we see it and it just happens all the time, and now I'm just used to it. I just avoid getting on the hype train. Don't ride that hype train.
I don't mind games getting delayed if it's gonna help improve the game, and the one I'm really excited for, if it's only like a month or so and I know it's gonna be better for it, I'm okay with the delay.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing too is these betas. So obviously Evolve and the Crew both had some pretty big betas for people to kind of get online and, you know, play with. So do you think that the betas are what obviously created those delays? Maybe people getting online, all the feedback that they were given?
I think in Evolve's case, that was delayed way before the alpha started. And I know that they're doing another like extension of their closed alpha. And okay, so we're gonna get off topic a little bit, but I have to tell you, and okay, so playing the Evolve alpha is probably the most frustrating thing in the whole world. I don't know if anyone else in chat is currently part of the alpha, but being combined with 2 other people or 3 other people that don't know what the hell is going on in that game is so mind-numbingly awful. Ugh.
So want to play. I like that game a lot. It's fun.
What's your favorite class to play?
Monster.
Well, knowing Saber has to say, never mind. Why did I even ask?
She always tries to kill me first as the medic, and it makes me sad.
That's what you do.
We were
Go after
friends.
the medic.
The big thing too is pre-orders. Like a game company, I think, knows how many games it's going to sell, or roughly, or has a great idea of how many games it's going to sell way before the game even goes out. So I wonder if they see a lot of pre-orders, they get, you know, increased pressure to make the game better, to fix other bugs, or if they don't see enough pre-orders, do they delay it? Maybe. I'd love to know like a developer's mentality on all this. And actually, I think we have one of our developers in chat.
Yeah. So Logan Shadowstorm is one of our awesome friends, and he's a game developer. And he said, speaking from the development side, 95% of the time a game is delayed because it wasn't ready.
Next topic. We're going to move on. So Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a thing that a lot of people enjoy. I don't know if you guys have personally ever dumped any money into a Kickstarter before. But the whole thing here now is Kickstarter has been a huge platform for indie developers to kind of pitch their games, try to get some funds. In Kickstarter, there's a huge decline in anything that's crowdfunding for pretty much, you know, gaming. And one of the reasons is early access, you know, on Steam, things like that. And it's funny because one of the games that I've been obsessed with lately, which is Town of Salem, is a Kickstarter. So what do you guys think about, you know, just games in general on Kickstarter? Do you see that trend?
I've put Kickstarter money into, what was it, Broken Age a while back. I think that was last year. I really enjoyed the game. I personally have not heard of any like very big success stories in, I don't know, the very recent past. And I think it makes sense for developers to start looking into Steam Early Access because people are basically paying you in order to test the game. So not only do you get the money, you also get that feedback from the community. And I feel like that is very much more helpful than just having people give you money and then not getting that feedback going.
Well, we were just talking about with game delays that people don't want to pay for an unfinished game. Kim,
Yep,
Kim,
that's what I
right,
was
bro?
Yep,
People paying for an unfinished game right here, right now, because they want to get in early and they want to be heard before that game goes gold, and you know, say what they like and what they don't like, and feel like they can influence the outcome of the final game. So I think this is awesome. But I'm also a big fan of Kickstarter. Although I think when a lot of people did the the VR Oculus Rift thing, they felt like they got burned when Oculus Rift turned around and got sold to Facebook. So I think that was like kind of the turning of the tide, where people started backing away from just angel investing all over the place.
Yeah, it's crazy too to look at the stats. So it says here in the article that $58 million was pledged to video game campaigns in 2013. Now, for the first half of 2014, only 13.5 million was pledged.
I think what's scary about it though is because like the thing is like even if you back a Kickstarter, it's not guaranteed
Right.
for them to actually. They can just take that money like, thank you.
Personally, even though I'm not doing the Kickstarter, I feel really empowered, because when I sit down with my friends and I'm like, man, wouldn't it be great if somebody made like, a perfect iPad cover so I could play on the iPad in the pool, and then one of my friends is like, oh, and punch that into Google, and for another $10,000, and that could be a reality. And I'm like, well, here's $20. My wish is that's my penny in the wishing well of 2014.
We're gonna move on to this next topic that I know a lot of people are super excited about, because you guys are all a bunch of social media celebrity-driven crazy asses that actually probably whoever's watching this can be like, what the hell? But we're gonna move on to Kim Kardashian, guys, because that lady cannot just blow up more than she already has.
Kim
in the mobile
Kardashian
space.
West.
Oh, sorry. Oh, excuse me. We're gonna be talking about Kim Kardashian West. Her, I don't want to say stupid Hollywood game, because I've actually played it and I did get a smidge addicted to it. But technically, the Hollywood is now going to be on Facebook. So this is a mobile game that is now transferring its way over to the Facebook world.
Hey, bestie.
Oh my god, I'm going to
I love
play
your
the video.
style.
She's like, hey, bestie! Sorry, I should probably turn the music off on this day.
You look stunning.
Over $200 million for this. That's huge, you guys. That's like...
When did
like
this game
huge.
launch
That's how
originally?
much she's grossed.
Wasn't it just earlier this year?
Yeah, we
it's
did it a few months ago.
Yeah.
It was
It really
not
hasn't been long, and they
at all.
really racked
Yeah.
up the money.
That's why people play it. So it will send you updates on your phone, like, where have you been, hottie? La la la. And it will like send you updates if you haven't played in a couple days. So I finally had to delete it, because I was like, don't call me hottie. It's awkward phone. I would have played it more, but then it started asking for my money. Like, to advance in the game, you either have to wait time, which I don't have, or pay the money.
Somebody said, this is a type of game that attracts people who don't typically identify as a gamer or a video game fan. And maybe, eventually it'll pull them into our industry and help it grow, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Gateway gaming. It's very important.
Gateway.
Yeah.
Like the gateway drug.
Gateway
gaming.
People
Perfect.
always ask in chat, no matter whenever I stream, and I know when you guys stream, I always see it, like, what's a good way to get, my friends that don't play games into games, right? Like maybe based on their personality, maybe the Kim Kardashian Hollywood game isn't a bad one to kind of like, oh, well, I know you're a big fan of Kim Kardashian, like download this on your phone and try it out. And then also, here's another suggestion if you liked it, and just kind of like, gradually ease their way into, the games that you maybe play. Because you maybe start with them with that, and then, work in like co-op games that you can get on the Wii U. It's a good gateway game.
So Nintendo has been doing some new stuff. So Nintendo Magazine, I don't know if any of you guys were ever subscribed to it, ever got it, ever went and bought it, but technically it is no mas. I personally think I maybe got the magazine like once. Have any of you guys ever, subscribed to it, gotten it? I know that we knew that Nintendo Magazine was going to be done, but they were around for 20 years. I think the big thing is the why they did it, and now that it's going to be exclusively, social media.
You've already seen like a huge decline in printed media, whereas now, like everyone has e-readers. So like you can get your magazine subscription on your tablet now. The only time I ever buy a magazine now is if my Nook is dead and I'm at the airport. How many people actually really subscribe to magazines now?
I'm really weird. If it's a magazine, I prefer to read it online. There's short articles. It's easy to read online. If it's a book, I prefer a physical book.
I feel like for bathroom reading especially, like, there's private times in our lives where you just want to, like read something, and sometimes like those magazines, like you have that little thing next to your
Of course,
throne
Michelle would bring up the pooper.
Hey, I said bathroom
Really,
time.
Michelle?
That could be, maybe you're taking a bubble bath, right? Like you don't want to put your you don't put your iPad over your, we did talk about waterproof iPad covers, but you don't want to like sit in your bathtub with your like iPad.
Oh, you guys. Okay, we're gonna end on that note of the pooper dropping iPads and Kindles into the bathtub and the pooper. So last thing we're gonna kind of go over before we get into our open Q&A. It's New York Comic Con week. Tier. This is the first time that we have not been to New York Comic Con in a very, very long time, which is sad, but it's okay because we get to do the show today, right, guys? I know Seltzer
I'm going to New York Comic Con.
Seltzer will be there hopefully a couple days this week, so if you guys are going to be out there, you can say hello to her. But we're going to talk a little bit about just what's going on.
Well, yeah, this is something that New York Comic Con put together, but it's actually celebrating a whole week of kind of nerdy stuff that's going on in the city. The biggest stuff was last weekend we had the America's Championship for Hearthstone and World of Warcraft. Shortly after that, starting I think yesterday or today, we have ESL 1, which is this huge Dota tournament. Throughout the week, all around the city, they have different bands and stand up and all kinds of stuff that's celebrating like geek cultures. So it's around New York right now. There's all these banners up and the nerds are out in full force. It feels good to be there.
I like that. I'm just sad that we couldn't go. If any of you guys get to go, tell us how that goes for you.
Did any of you ladies play Aliens Isolation? And we have a very fabulous video coming up for you on Monday. So just subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Could it be that? Could it?
Could it?
Yeah, Alien Isolation videos coming out Monday, guys.
Woo! Hey!
Oh my gosh.
Your enthusiasm.
Yay!
Super delayed.
I remember being a little kid and be like, age, sex, live, and I'd be like, 12, woo!
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know what that meant. I went into my first chat room and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, I'm doing something